what we really want to talk about is, like why, because I know we always have that question, like why do some people seem to be able to win and why do other people never seem to be able to win? What is that thing that's separating people who are achieving all these big things in life and those that just never seem to be able to get out of that bad place? And they never seem to overcome those problems. Now, again, let's just be honest. 2020's brought a lot of disappointments, broken dreams, lost jobs, lost family members and friends, and just downright a lot of ugly behavior that we've seen over the course of this year. I know, like for me, like I lost my mom a couple weeks ago. My wife lost her job early this year. We've had a lot of disappointments, a lot of things happen to us. This has been a year that I will absolutely be very thankful to put in the rear view mirror. I am absolutely fully understanding of all of these things that when I hear all these different people, and I've just seen so many posts over the last while of somebody else who lost a family member and another person and another person and another person. It has just been staggering to see all the losses that have piled up this year. And when we have all those things happen, we really start to face a danger, and it starts to create a trend of that. When a lot of we take a lot of punches and we take a lot of body blows from the things that are going on to life, onto in that happening in our lives, it starts to do things to us. And I'm starting to see a trend, and I'm starting to see a trend way too much in a lot of people, and it's just coming across in a lot of different ways. And that's people are becoming apathetic. People are kind of throwing their hands up in the air and they're saying, hey, I'm just done. I'm tired of fighting this. This has gotten to be too difficult. And, fill in the blank with whatever the topic may be. It could be any of these topics that we're talking about, because so much has happened in 2020. It's just a long laundry list of events that have gone on that were not great. And people are just starting to say, I'm just tired. I'm weary. I'm worn out by all of this. I'm sick and tired of fighting it. I'm just throwing my hands up in the air. And I just see people accepting defeat. They just are accepting of the notion that, hey, I'm done. I'm tired. I'm worn out. I just don't feel like continuing to keep going, and I don't want to keep doing it. And what they may not want to say, but what they're really doing is they're giving up on their dream. And they're giving up on that dream that they had for their life, the thing that they said that this is the thing I feel like I'm supposed to do, the thing that's really important, the thing that I'm supposed to accomplish. And they're just kind of throwing in the towel and they're giving up. And while it feels easy in the moment, and it feels like it's the convenient thing at that moment, because you're weary, you're tired, you're worn out, and you're run down, it's the worst thing you can do. It is absolutely the worst thing that you can do, because you're giving up on the one thing that you should never give up on. The truth of all this is that you are given a calling and purpose for your life. That's just everyone who's still breathing has a purpose still on their lives. And that purpose that was given to you, that calling on your life, wasn't conditional upon good times. God didn't say, hey, I'm giving you the gifts, I'm giving you the abilities, I'm giving you the contacts, the resources, I'm putting you in this place in the world, and I'm asking you to do this thing. This is the thing that I'm calling on you to be active, to work in this area, because there's so many areas of the world that need good people working in them, and I'm calling you to this industry. I'm calling you to this place. But when God did that, he wasn't unaware of 2020 when he created you. He wasn't unaware that 2020 was going to be a real stinker of a year, and that it was going to be a royal struggle for so many people. And so all of this is, you have to understand the calling that you were given wasn't conditional upon everything going well. It wasn't conditional upon the perfect scenario all lining up for you and everything adding up just right so that everything would go smoothly. And the reality is too, is that if you're still breathing, your calling is still valid and it still stands. You still have that calling. If you are still breathing, then that means God still has hope for you. He still has a purpose for you. He still has a reason for you to keep going. And that still stands. It's still there, even though a lot of these things are now, like I said, this past year, things haven't gone well. Things for so many people on so many levels. Like I said, I feel like my side, I've gotten beat up way too many directions all at once. And I'm like, oh my word, like this needs to stop. But The reality is my calling's still there. I'm still expected to do the things that God created me to do. And during these times, during these difficult times, I really come to a complete belief that this is our testing time. This is the testing ground on which we're standing, that God is really testing to say, are you serious or not? Are you really serious? I gave you something and you said yes. You said you're going to do it, but are you serious? Are you serious about doing the thing? And do you trust me? Do you trust me to lead you down the path that I want you to go? And what this difficult time in our history is showing is that a lot of people aren't serious. They're not really committed. They're not really dedicated to doing the thing because so many of them are just bailing. They're walking away and they're throwing their hands up and giving up. Well, that's what I think a lot of what God is doing through this is that he's really shaking the ground a little bit to say, all right, who's really with me and who's really serious and who's really committed? Who's actually going to stay the course and keep going? Because, yeah, everybody can say I'm going to do it when times are easy, when times are going well, and all the successes are happening one after another. Yeah, I'm committed to doing it. Well, when things aren't going that direction, are you still committed? Are you still standing on the ground and saying, yes, we're gonna keep going and keep pushing forward? And what we tend to forget far too often is, like Chris and I were talking about it when we first started today, we tend to have this vision in our minds that this is what the road to success looks like. It's like, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to get this product or service out there. It's going to launch and I'm just going to take off like a rocket ship and all these people are going to buy it. I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to just be so successful. All these people are going to reach out to me to have me come speak, to have me come do this, to have me come do that. And I'm going to write a book and it's going to become a bestseller. And I'm just going to be so successful that I'm just going to be able to relax, go sit on the beach and dig my feet in the sand. Well, that's really not the real that's our vision and that's the dream that we get in our head when we first start. We're like, yeah, it's going to go so amazing. Or I'm just going to be basking in the glow of all this great success. The reality is success almost invariably looks something more like this. The upward trend is up. The trend does go up. If you stay with it, your growth and your success will grow. It will go up. It will keep going. But there are significant dips along the way. You're going to go up, 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 and then bang, get knocked back down for a bit. Then you build it and you fight and you get back up again. Boom, another big hit. And then you fight, get up, another hit. We have to be able to work through those hits because if we quit here, or here, or here, we never hit here. And those things never happen. All those things are now gone. All those blessings, all those amazing things that would have happened are gone because we gave up too early and we gave up down here. So if you give up in the valleys, you have to understand your dream and all the blessings that are waiting for you in the future are going to die. Those will never be realized. God has what I believe is so many blessings and so many wonderful things out there for each one of us, but they're conditional. All those blessings and all those things are conditional on our cooperation and on our willingness to keep working, on our willingness to keep pressing forward and keep trusting and having faith in him that the thing that we are asked to do, that we're going to stay with it and we're going to keep working on it. And also, not only for what it does for you, all those people, because I feel like each one of us has a gift. Each one of us has a skill. We have something that we are really good at. We're really uniquely skilled in this little area of life, and we're called to serve people in that area of life. And if we give up, all those people that needed our help aren't going to be helped. They're not going to get served. They're not going to be assisted in the ways that they needed help. So they're going to keep struggling even more too, because we weren't there the way that we were supposed to be there. And ultimately, the purpose for your life will never be fulfilled. And that's something we all need to think hard about. We need to sit here and think hard about this. Are we willing, just because times are tough and it's been a rough year and everybody's, pandemic weary, are we willing to give up and throw in the towel and say the purpose for my life is I'm just going to give it up. I'm never going to fulfill it. I'm never going to reach it because I'm just too tired and I'm too sick of fighting. We have to really think hard. Are we really willing to do that? Because if you do, you'll never get it back. So what really separates the winners? A few things. The winners don't let the struggle become the story. And I think this is one that we all fight. This is something that all of us are battling. This is something that all of us have to fight through, because something really bad happens in your life. Something really happens that it was wrong. It should have never happened. You didn't deserve it, but it happened anyway. And we can very easily let that negative story, that struggle, that problem in our life become the story of our life. It can become the story that every time somebody asks us how you're doing, that's the story you tell. And it can become all about that. And it can become all about that problem. Winners don't do that. They don't let the struggle become their ultimate story. Winners also then don't accept defeat. Now, you may say that's easy to say, but this is where I really, really want you to get it, is that winners don't just say, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be, I quit. No, the thing that I know about winners is that winners are the most persistent people I've ever met. Do winners lose? Oh, absolutely. Winners get knocked down. Winners lose. Winners do not win every time they go out and try and do something. They fail, they fail, they fail, they fail. But they just keep getting back up, and they refuse to say the failure is going to be the last thing. The failure is going to be the last chapter. No, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go again. I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep going. That's the thing, because when winners, the reason winners are winners is because they persisted, is because they kept going, is because they kept investing in themselves, because they kept working on things, because they kept adding to their skills. They kept beating the drum and kept going after things and kept doing things. They didn't let defeat end the game for them, because every winner loses. Every winner gets stopped many, many times on their journey. They just don't let that be the last chapter. So you have to take that same approach. You have to just keep like, okay, I tried this campaign. I tried this, this lead magnet thing that I put out, and I got some leads, but I didn't get as many as I hoped. Because again, we have that vision of, I got all of a sudden thousands of people on my email list because I put out one thing. Yeah, well, okay. That's possible later, but right out of the gate, it's probably not going to be happening. It's going to be an inch at a time. We just have to keep trying and trying again. We have to keep working at it. We can't give up no matter how many times we lose, and your persistence will eventually open the door to success. That is, again, of anything that I've learned in my life. And I've hung around now at this point a lot of highly, highly successful people. And the one thing that I see that separates people who are having that high level of success from the people who are struggling is the word persistence. It is absolutely the thing. They just don't give up. They just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming until they finally figure it out, until they finally achieve success. The people who are struggling are the ones who, I tried this idea and it didn't work. Then I tried that idea and it didn't work. Then I tried this idea and it didn't work. And they just keep doing half-hearted attempts at all these things, and they just keep quitting on all those things instead of staying with an idea that was a really good idea and working it and working it and working it until they achieve success. Now, this is the thing I really want you to do. Everyone who's watching this video, I want you to commit, and I want you to commit publicly. I want you in the comments below this video, I want you to publicly state, what is your dream for 2021? What is it? What is that thing for this next year? Because obviously we're just a couple weeks away now from the new year. What is that dream that you have for 2021? What is that thing that you really want to achieve? And then I want you to declare that you're going to do it no matter what. You're going to find a way to succeed no matter what. And I want you to say that publicly. I want you to go on record. Don't just say it to yourself and keep it to yourself. I want you to go on record and say, yes, I am going to do this. I am going to launch this course that I did, this product that I have, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to stay on it, and I'm going to stay with it until it succeeds. No matter what, I'm just going to keep hammering away. Then what I want you to do is I want you to find someone who can hold you accountable, who's going to look at you and say, nope, you can't quit. You publicly promised me that you were going to do this, that you were going to stay committed to it. You can't quit. And I will tell you that this is another huge piece to all this, because I am a person who has learned very clearly the value of having someone in your life that will hold you accountable. I can't tell you how many times when I try and do things on my own, I quit. And some of you know that I have a guy that a trainer at the gym that I work out with. I cannot tell you how many times, how many days, and I've been working with him like a year and a half now. I cannot tell you how many days I didn't want to go. I was tired. I was worn out. I was just like, oh man, I really don't want to go to the gym today and lift weights again because I'm still sore from the last one. I'm like, oh man, do I have to go do it again? But Matt is going to be standing at the top of those stairs waiting for me. And if I don't show up, there's going to be an issue. He's going to look at me and say, dude, what are you doing? Yeah. Where are you? Why aren't you here? And there's that little part inside me that says, I can't let Matt down. I can't not show up. So every time I keep going, I keep showing up, I keep committing. And as a result, the progress that I've made is significantly higher than what I would if I didn't have that accountability. And then the last thing I'm going to tell you to do here is put consequences in for quitting. If, again, you have to have accountability, but then you have to say, okay, if I quit, then I agree to do, this. I'm going to do something that's very, very painful to me. A few years ago, I had something that I was really, really wanting to do. I was really passionate. And the coach, my life coach that I work with, was like, okay, we're going to do this. So he said, at that point in time, there was this was the last presidential election 4 years ago. He said, which presidential candidate do you hate the most? So that's an interesting question, but okay. So I told him, I said, which one it is? Said, all right, name a dollar amount that would hurt you. And I'm like, okay, where are these questions going? I'm like, all right. So I said, here's a dollar amount. He said, okay, go get your checkbook. I'm like, all right, where are we going with this? He says, you are going to write a check out to this person's political campaign for the dollar amount that you just said, and you're going to mail it to me. If you quit, if you don't stay on this, and if you quit doing the thing that you said you're going to do, I will mail this check to their campaign. And you not only will have contributed to somebody that you don't believe in, you're now going to be on their donor list. And you're going to get ongoing calls and mail, and you're going to be listed as one of their supporters. And you will pay for quitting. And let me tell you what, I didn't quit. Because there was consequences on the other side. There was pain on the other side. And so many times what we do is we lay something out there and said, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But quitting has no cost. We put no cost for walking away. And so walking away becomes far too easy. It becomes easy for us to say, oh, I'm just tired. I give up. Well, guess what? We need to have a consequence for that. We need to have a consequence of something in pain, some type of pain that we are going to experience if we quit. We got to know that, and we got to experience that. So with that being said, I'm going to let Chris wrap us up here because Chris had some things that he wanted to share for next steps between here and the end of the year. So
yes, absolutely. So first of all, folks, from today is December 16th. We have 15 days till 2020 is over. So many people have said, I want 2020 to end. I just want it gone, right? And it's almost here. So, but that means 2021 is on our heels, right? Or right ahead. And so write down key actions that you can actually take today to finish this year strong and set yourself up for the great new year ahead that's possible. Now, you can't predict what's coming next year. I can't predict. We have no crystal ball to say what 2021 is going to be like versus 2020 and beyond. But what we can do is do what we think we need to do to get ready, and we can take those actions today. Think about it this way. What if you could map out one key action over the next 15 days that you're going to do? That would be powerful. You would take 15 steps, even if they're baby steps, you would take 15 steps toward wrapping up this year strong and preparing for 2021. And then, as part of this process, define your key actions to take in the first 90 days of the new year. You see, a lot of times, David, I think one of our problems is we think the entire year. And like by the end of 2021, I want to accomplish X. And while those are good goals in a sense, they also can always feel so far out that it's easy to just delay. And so I think that if we can say, let's look at the first quarter of the year, the first 90 days, and let's imagine one of my favorite books that I read a few years ago, David, is The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. And he talked about how so many businesses and individuals work so hard this time of year right now to meet their year-end goals in that last quarter. And his point is, what if we treated every quarter like it was the last quarter of the year? And so you have a 12-week year. So the first quarter of the year, you have 12 weeks to accomplish what you might have accomplished in a whole year. And what if you did that 4 times a year? How far would you be able to go in your goals and in your dreams, your businesses, right? So define what are the key actions you need to take in the first 90 days, and then write them down on a tracking sheet. You could use a journal if you need to. You can use a Google Sheet or a Microsoft Excel, whatever you like, right? Just write down a tracking sheet to measure your progress. And then here's the other thing that I've learned significantly: put it on your calendar. One of the things, even in my first book I wrote, one of the things I was sharing in there, David, was if I block it out in my calendar, I actually do it, and so I talk about block it out and knock it out. And I really believe that that's part of this, right? Is if it's important enough to be on your to-do list, then it needs to be important enough to be on your calendar. And if it's on your calendar, then do it. So tell your calendar what you need to do, and then let your calendar tell you what to do when you get to that day, that time, or whatever. And so I believe that if we do these things, taking this idea that David gave us today, right, and really being persistent and staying the course and really putting actionable items towards that, we can not only finish this last 2.5 weeks strong before the end of this year, but we can also really have a plan together for how we're going to start in the first 90 days of the new year. And I believe that you can get some major traction if you'll do that. But it takes time to sit down and just do some thinking, think about key steps. They don't have to be huge. Just keep moving forward. Sometimes we just need those small steps to get us moving, and then we can take bigger steps as we go. But David, I just think that between everything you said and then just thinking about this for ourselves over the last couple of weeks here, or next couple of weeks, I just think we have opportunities, right? We have opportunities to finish strong and begin strong. And 2020 is going to be a year we'll always look back on, and we'll have lots of stories. But let's look forward and let the vision pull us forward. So.
Yeah, I agree. I met Brian Moran once. He came to speak at a little group I was a part of, so I got to meet him and I heard him talk all about his 90 days.
Yeah,
and yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that is a huge a huge thing. And the only other thing I would say is just to when you're writing out your goals, when you're really putting this stuff out there, make them goals that are stretches but not breaks, in other words. Because sometimes, what I see a lot of too is like people say my goal for 2021 is, and they just make this like a person who's barely getting started, I want to make $5 million this year. Well, okay, that's a good goal, but when you're at zero,
right,
and you start out, that's too much. And then when your goal is so big, it becomes disheartening when it's taking longer than you think to get there. Make a goal that's doable. Make a goal that in the time frame that you've allotted. Make a goal that fits the time span. Because again, can you get to 5 million? Absolutely. But if you're starting at zero, it's going to take you longer than 12 months. Yeah. So just be honest about it and understand that yes, that's doable, but you're going to need probably more time than 12 months unless you absolutely strike gold, which the vast majority of people have to do it the longer, more steady way. Sure. But those are things too, like your goals need to be at a level that you can achieve them, that they're not so easy that they don't require anything of you. Because sometimes people will do that too and say, oh yeah, I'm writing out my goals and I've actually already done half of them. Well, then they're really not goals, people. Right. Like if they're already on the done pile, they're not goals. You don't get to clarify that.
That's like my wife. She likes to have a checklist. So if she's distracted, and does other things, she'll put those things she already did on the checklist just so she can check them off. And I'm like, wait a second, you're just stacking the deck here, like you're helping yourself.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, that's not really making progress. You're just trying to make yourself feel good at that point.
Right, exactly. Your to-do list looks great, but
right. That's not the goal. The goal is how do you get yourself moving forward? How do you, and again, that's the stuff I like what Chris said was like, make those small baby steps, because the thing that you have to keep in mind, you may think, well, this individual baby step isn't huge. Well, you're right. It isn't huge. But when you add up 10 baby steps in a row, that's a solid step forward. That's a full step forward. And if you keep doing that, if you keep taking those steps, guess what? You're making progress.
It's a compound effect, right?
Forward. So,
yeah, no, that's good. I mean, I think, guys, it's one of those things where we know it's been a tough year. We know that this journey of business is tough, no matter what year it is. You know, when you're trying to figure out what your offer is, you're trying to figure out, you know, exactly what's going to connect with people. You're trying to figure out what's going to stick. And I know for me, David, I'm bad at celebrating even the small wins. I'm bad. I'm so, you know, I've heard it called the success gap, where, you know, when you succeed, you're always looking so far ahead to the next goal, the next thing, that you don't stop to celebrate. So you never feel like you're winning. You're feeling like you're always behind. And I know for me, I'm guilty, right? I'm guilty of that, because I have a big vision, and those little things don't seem to matter to me, you know, at least mentally and emotionally a lot of times. And yet what happens is I can get so frustrated because I'm not at the top of the mountain yet, but I don't give myself credit for being halfway up the mountain or a quarter of the way, or whatever, it's been. So be careful about that too, folks, because most of us are probably pretty driven people. We have a vision. We're motivated. We're excited about helping people. We're excited about our own freedom through our businesses that we can experience. And so when we're not there yet, it's easy to feel down and bad about it, and that can paralyze you, right? Or make you want to give up. And a lot of people around you might be looking at you going, wow, look at how far they've come, right, while you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure, you know. So don't trust your emotions.
Right. And one of the things that Chris mentioned that he has a hard time celebrating. I mean, I'm kind of the king of that one too. like every time I get knocked out 5 things, the only thing I'm looking at is the next 5 things to do.
Right.
And what I've realized is, and this is something that's really helped me get stuff done, is I have made little mini rewards for myself. And I will literally be like, okay, I really want to do something. Like, you know, I want to watch this show. Like, you know, I don't know if you watch The Mandalorian or not, but that's been kind of a fun little Netflix show that we've been watching, my wife and I. I'm like, I really want to watch it. Well, you can watch The Mandalorian episode, the next one, as soon as you get this done. And I'll just make a little rule for myself: knock out this thing that you need to get done, knock it out, and then you can spend the next 45 minutes guilt-free, relaxing, doing something that's fun for you. And there's little times where it just helps motivate you, and it's nice because you're legitimately giving yourself a reward. You're legitimately helping you have some fun in the game, because otherwise it does get weary. It does get tiring, because you're just like, oh, I just feel like I'm on the treadmill, and the treadmill is just always spinning and spinning. And as soon as I kick out those things, then there's a whole bunch more waiting, and it gets tiring. So give yourself rewards, give yourself little perks and benefits that you can enjoy, because all of this is a journey. All of this is a process. And we're all, again, once you get your business up and running and you do some strong things and you get some things, the success really starting to come, you're still going to have lots of problems to deal with. You're going to have lots of challenges, and we're just trying to make this work in a way that we can enjoy the journey, so that this whole process is something that not only can we be impactful, not only can we be, doing all these things, we can also have joy while we're doing it all, and make all these things happen.
Yeah. Well, folks, we really are excited for what we see happening in 2021. We're excited that you're here in this group. If there's other folks that you know that could benefit from being a part of a community like this, that's talking about business in a way that maybe it's hard to find others, around them to be a part of, we would love to have them join the group. So simply click that little invite button on the Facebook page and invite your friends that's relevant. We want to grow this community, right? We want to grow this community to support each other, to share with each other, to, once again, contribute to each other's, thinking and working through issues. And we're excited to see what's already happened in the first few weeks here, but we're really looking forward to what does the next 12 months look like, even as this group continues to grow and evolve, and see what we have to help each other, because we believe in you guys. We believe in every one of us in this group has something valuable to share and to do and to offer to the world. Once again, we believe that it's your calling. It's your mission that you've been given. And so we want to help you get there. And so participate, join in the conversation, engage the community, invite people into the community, and yeah, just take action today. Take action today, tomorrow, these next 15 days to get to 2021, and then just keep moving. Get momentum. Momentum is your friend. It's like catching that tailwind when you're flying in a plane. It carries you farther, faster once it's going, but it takes a little while sometimes to get going, and that's where the mindset stuff really has to kick in for us. So. But no, David, thanks for training us in that today and talking about that. I think it's just so important. It's something that we can overlook in the middle of the tactical stuff we need to do with our businesses each day.
Well, the mindset stuff is the thing that we struggle with every day, right? It's the staying committed every day. Like, yes, I need to do this, but there's always that mental part of like, I have to stay mentally engaged at the right level. I have to keep my attitude in a good place. I have to keep my heart hopeful for the future. I have to keep believing in what I'm doing. And the reason that I do what I do and the reason that we're doing this group is I just have this firm belief in my heart that, again, as I mentioned, that everybody has something unique to them. And over the last decade or so, I've met so many amazing people that they've done so many things. They've done so many they have so many gifts. So like I met people who want to help people who are, battling sexual abuse, people who are helping others, with their relationship stuff. Other people are helping people with getting jobs. And the list just goes on and on and on. And I'm not gifted to do all those things. That's not my gifting, but I can help them grow their business so they can reach those people to make a difference in their lives. And again, we live in a world that has a lot of ugly in it, especially anymore. There's a lot of ugly out there. And I'm just become more convicted in my heart all the time that the way you overcome that is you get the people to execute on their calling. If every believer went out there and did the thing that they were called to do, then guess what? The world would be a different place because of all the ripple effect of all the impact that we'd be making on all these different people's lives. And I feel like entrepreneurism is a huge avenue for people to have an impact on the world. It's a huge avenue for doing it because we're not stuck in bureaucracy. We don't have to get large corporations to approve budgets to do what we want to do. We don't have to get approval from bosses. We're not a government, or we have to cut through all red tape. We can just go and we can just do the things that we want and need to do. And so we're the nimble, independent ones that can do it.